despite several measures of support being announced in the spring budget. Leading charity Debt Free Advice say they have seen a 50% increase in Londoners using their services, with the cost of living crisis crippling families' finances more and more by the day, it seems. Or perhaps most shockingly, the firm say 22% of Londoners supported by their service say they need food banks now. Well, Helena spoke to Matt, its managing director.
So far this year, we've seen a 65% increase in the number of income inquiries to our service. And that compares to what was already our busiest year last year, where demand was increased by 300%. We know that the cost of living crisis is hitting working families really hard, kind of what we refer to as our COVID heroes, a big increase in the number of teachers, nurses and supermarket workers needing to turn to us for advice and have referrals onto food banks, which is obviously really alarming.
Well, you mentioned the cost of living crisis there. Do you think that is the main reason that Londoners are turning to the charity?
Yes, that's a big reason. This year, we've seen a 47% increase in those coming to us with gas arrears and 44% of those coming to us with electricity arrears. And that's on top of about a third of our customers that are on prepayment meters for their energy. So they're not getting in behind with their bills. They're just being cut off from their energy.
Well, the spring budget was announced recently. Were there some measures of support put in place for Londoners, and do those measures go far enough?
So there were some bits of good news in there. So the Chancellor announced that the energy price guarantee, that's the energy price cap that we've seen for the last 6 months, will remain in place for the next 3 months. Now, that is a saving of about 20% in case it had gone up. Now, we had joined Martin Lewis and over 100 other charities in campaigning for just this. So that's good. There's also good news for those customers that are on prepayment meters. Starting from the 1st of July, that energy price guarantee will also be adjusted so that prepay meter customers pay no more than their neighbours who pay by direct debit, which in kind of layman terms means about a saving of about £45 a year for those households, which is really good news. However, even with those good measures, the energy bill support scheme, that's the bit where the government was kind of topping up everyone's account by about £66 a month. That comes to an end this month. So even though the price cap is there and prepayment meters are going to come down from July, everybody is going to see their energy prices rise from next month. So that is still a concern.
Absolutely. Well, if someone does feel like they're struggling with money, what would you urge them to do in the first place?
So if you're worried, find your nearest advice centre on our website at www.debtfreeadvice.com or give us a call on 0800 808 5700. We're open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week, so you can fit that advice in around work or caring or whatever you've got. And if you're finding it hard to make that phone call, you can use that same phone number to discreetly drop us a WhatsApp message. The earlier you start that conversation, the more tools our advisors are going to have in their toolkit to be able to help.
Absolutely. And I do wonder, why do you think that so many people who are in debt suffer in silence? There's a kind of shame that surrounds it, isn't there?
There's a massive shame. We did some research last year, and we know you're more likely to tell your pet than your partner or loved one about your financial situation. And I suppose second only to health, it's kind of the things that we're most resistant to share any information about because of that shame. But there shouldn't be shame attached to this. You know, as I said, it's so common. 5 in 10 Londoners are worried about their finances. And if anything, you know, if you was worried about your health, you'd go and see a doctor. If you had a leak in your house and you could afford it, you'd get a plumber and you'd get an expert. Our advisors are FCA regulated. They're high quality advisors, and that advice is always free and completely impartial.
There you go, Matt Dronfield from Debt Free Advice. Plenty more on their website as well. Right, you're watching London Live News with James Dickman. A reminder